Hi guys, it's TechBoy here with yet another video. This video is talking about the top 5 iPad Air 2014 predictions. I personally think it will still be called the iPad Air, since that's what the full-size iPad was called in 2013, the 9.7-inch size one. But these are my predictions of what the 2014 version will have compared to what the 2013 model came out and had. So let's get started. At number 5, we have the minor additions and accessories. It's often the little things that have the biggest impact. For example, the stereo speakers on the iPad Air 2013. Everybody doing their reviews basically says, I don't normally review the sound of this device, but it was a substantial upgrade that they thought it was worth mentioning during the review. 802.11ac Wi-Fi networking needs to come, which is 3 times faster than 802.11n at similar distances. Support for MIMO technology in 802.11ac, so it's 2 times faster on top of just normal 802.11ac support. The ability to mirror over AirPlay at 1080p is in the iPad Air 2013 version, so I somehow doubt they'll add Ultra HD TV, 4K, 2160p, whatever you want to call it, as a quality feature for AirPlay in the 2014 model, since not enough people will have that compatible resolution. But if they bring out an Apple TV set, iTV or whatever, and it's compatible, maybe they could rescale it when you do the AirPlay stuff. Time will tell. And come out with a new case that provides more functionality than the iPad Smart Cover case, especially after what they did with the iPad Air in 2013. They basically just redesigned the previous cases, and the Smart case costed substantially more, which I was furious about. Maybe they could make it a typing cover with a kickstand for the case edition, for example, like the image on the right there. That's one of the patents that they currently own, so if they implement something like that, it could potentially increase their sales substantially and provide people more of an incentive to get an iPad over a Surface tablet or any other tablet that has a keyboard like that. Number 4, we have more built-in storage. So let me walk you through it. iPad Air in 2013 came out and had all of these configurations. In 2014, they definitely need to get rid of the 16GB model. So these are all based on US prices, but I personally think they'll double the storage for each of them, but don't have a 256GB model, so 32GB Wi-Fi starts at $4.99, which is probably what it should have been this year. As a basis of comparison, the iPad Mini 2013 was out in these prices, and I think in 2014 it will come out in these prices, so basically $100 less than it is now. So the iPod Touch 16GB should probably start at $199, so you've got a differentiator there. And the iPad Pro Maxi, whatever you want to call it, this 13-inch iPad that's highly rumoured to come out, based on latest rumours, will probably be $100 more than the iPad Air 2014. So if you compare the 32GB model for each of these in the bottom lot, the Wi-Fi 32GB model for the iPad Mini will be $399, for the iPad Air it will be $499, and for the iPad Pro Maxi it will be $599. Twice the storage as before, but no 256GB model, which should come out for the iPad Pro Maxi if they do it, which should have around a 13-inch screen. The iPad Mini 2014 with 16GB will be the 2013 model to be a basis of comparison, so the Retina Display model but 2013. And it should happen because price of flash storage would have gone down significantly since the first iPad, I personally believe. Retina Display apps, HD movies are enticing people to download more from iTunes to help with Apple's sales. The only people that really get 16GB models are the ones that get it out of the box, they download Facebook, Twitter, and they don't let the battery go below 50%. Those are for those people, but honestly, they should put more storage in it and start it at 32. I mean, seriously. And it will make their competitors look more expensive if you think about it, because it will be almost entering their territory for pricing. So it makes all the cheaper competitors look expensive. And make the $100 price option for customers to choose either a larger screen or double the storage, I personally think is a good way to get people to think in a lot of different ways, so they can make sure they get the right iPad for them, for each customer. Number 3 is the cameras. Don't get me wrong, the cameras on the iPad since the Retina Display models in early 2012, which have a 5 megapixel sensor in the back, despite megapixels being a huge factor, are superb, but that does not mean that there is no reason to improve them. If they were going to hold up a tablet in public, and if I was to hold up a tablet in public, I want to get a decent photo and video out of it, because if I don't, it'll just be sheer embarrassment. I only believe the iPad Air and other iPads will receive an update if the iPhone 6, or 2014 model, whatever it's called, gets a significant update. 8 megapixel rear facing camera if the iPhone 6 gets a 12 or 13 megapixel camera. LED flash on the back, but probably not the dual True Tone flash camera on the back. 2 megapixel front facing camera that supports 1080p. f2.2 aperture, just like the iPhone 5S, to let even more light in for photos and videos shot at night. All of the unique camera features the iPhone 5S has, including auto image stabilization, burst mode, and slow mode, because the A7 chip in the iPad Air 2013 and in the iPad Mini 2013 are capable of doing these, but they just don't put them in to give you an incentive to get the iPhone 5S. So they'll probably bring it out just a year later in the iPads, I reckon. So let's move along. Number 2 is Apple A8 chip. The A7 is dual-core at 1.4 GHz each in the iPad Air 2013 with a 64-bit architecture. In comparison, the iPad Mini 2013 and the iPhone 5S have a 1.3 GHz, so it's only slightly faster, but it's nothing substantial. It's only just faster enough to accommodate the bigger screen. But in 2014, they can have 2 options. Speed up each of the cores for faster speeds, or double the number of cores for the CPU, so go from dual to quad core. No A8X chip, because A8 will have quad core graphics, because the A7 chip already has quad core graphics in it, therefore making the X irrelevant. The A8 could mean 8 cores inside the chip. If you think about this, it could mean there's 4 for the CPU and 4 for the GPU. So you got 4 for the central processing of data and all that, and 4 dedicated to the graphics, which it already has 4 for the graphics in the A7 chip. So it's just a little thought I thought of when I was making this video. And iOS 8 needs to be designed for the A7 chip and the A8 chip to get the most out of the hardware. There could be things like the animations are capped to make it look smoother and all that, but based on latest betas for iOS 7.1, they're potentially going to speed it up ever so slightly. So if they do things like that and make the software more optimized for the hardware, it will be a huge step up. And finally, number 1 is probably the most obvious one. Touch ID. The fingerprint sensor introduced in the iPhone 5S in 2013 will come to the 2014 iPads, including the iPad Air, I personally believe. They may come along with a software feature for multiple account login, which is one of the advantages that Windows 8 and Android tablets have at the moment over iOS. The ability to store more than 5 fingerprints, because with the 5S you can only store 5 fingerprints at the moment, but in the A8 chip, they should have the ability to store maybe 25 fingerprints in total, because you could cap it so you got 5 fingerprints for each person that uses the iPad and with Touch ID in it. And if you have 5 accounts, let's say, that's 25 in total. So if you could store 25 fingerprints in a tablet, so it could work for 5 different people, not that many people you wouldn't need to give out that many accounts. But if you have one for the family, for example, you've got your mum, your dad, your sister, your brother, your cousin, whatever, they could all have their own separate accounts, and one would be the admin, which will probably be the person that sets it up in the first place. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. The question for you, the audience, is what do you want to see in the iPad Air 2014 model? It's as simple as that. So you can let me know by leaving a comment below. And if you enjoy this, please give it a like. And if you choose to, subscribe to my channel, but only if you want to. I'm not going to force anyone to subscribe me, but out to everyone out there that has subscribed to my channel already and still continues to watch my videos, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for sticking around. And until the next video, I will catch you later. Thanks for watching.